Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. Today we're going to look at the Star Citizen monthly report for May 2016 and try and squeeze it down into delicious, manageable chunks of tasty data. Obviously all of the studios have been working pretty hard on getting 2.4 persistence and the shopping experience working, but let's look at some of the more notable points of interest, starting with the CIG office Los Angeles. The engineering guys have started working on coolers and heat sinks, testing the functionality of infrared and heat signature tuning. There's also been some focus on the 2.4 fizz controller and seat integration as well. Some systems too, like energy control managers for the power plants, entity health component work, so this is like item wear and tear, signal pipes and positional controls for capital ships have all received work too. The tech design guys there have started testing power plants and the shield system 2.0, how overheating and heat spikes will work and affect on ship components. They've also been working on the 85X design, that's the 890 jumps shuttle. They've also been working on the F7A military Hornet, as well as the Prowler space stations, updating the Carrack brief and getting the Reliant flight ready, as well as some work on the Drake Herald whiteboxing. We'll learn a little bit more about exploration as well, according to them, in the next month's report. The art and animation guys there have been building the Caterpillar, and exterior passes have been done on that as well. They've been adjusting the command module to the turrets, the decals, the tractor beam room, engines and cargo as well. They're doing materials passes, getting the cargo module, the interior of that all fleshed out too. The global tech content guys, they've been working on clothing volume and clipping so that items don't clip over each other, or if they do, they compress. Asset rigging for the Shubin miner uniform as well as working on some Vandal bits and pieces. They've also been implementing the RSI flight suit jetpack that we've seen. The narrative guys there as well, they've been helping with that pickup performance shoot that there's been going on recently, and we're told that we're going to see more of that next month. Down in CIG Austin, the development guys there, they've been wrapping up loads of tasks for 2.4 and planning for 2.5. That's kind of been their main focuses, but they've been providing polish to that 2.4 shopping and port mod experience. They've been planning several features and assets for future patches. We're going to have more clothing and items with every release. That's the plan anyway. They've got their final design for Chris Roberts to peruse for the kiosk purchasing, so that's going to allow us to buy larger items and ships, that sort of stuff to be purchased, stuff that you wouldn't be able to buy over the counter. They've also been improving the try-on system so that it will zoom into the area that's being affected by the try-on. So if you're trying on some shoes, it'll zoom to your shoes. There's also going to be some more grungy frontier clothing available in the 2.5 patch that we'll hopefully get during June. There's also been lots of work to persistent UEC. They're going to be working towards, instead of just using the alpha UEC, so in the future we're going to obviously be using persistent real, as it were, UEC rather than alpha UEC. There's also work on animations for entering and exiting your ships at speed based on the urgency required of that entering and exiting. And they've just wrapped those animations up with the 300i, and now they're moving on to the Avenger. They've also been working on animations for the no spacesuit death animation in airlocks, as well as some scenes for the mess hall and interacting with ship terminals. There's also been some solid lighting reworks to several of the game areas. The Q&A and support guys, they've been doing so much 2.4 PTU testing, fixing loads of issues like the Code 7 disconnects, generally improving each update's performance, getting the important bugs fixed and ID'd. If you're interested in participating with the Evocati or the early PTU test builds, please be active on the issue council. People are more likely to be chosen if they're more active on there. The IT and operation guys, they've been making more progress with the patching system to get smaller and incremental patches working or out into our hands so that we don't have to download so much. This is expected in the summer and will be absolutely great. They've also been incorporating the new patching system into the pipeline, obviously, making further optimizations to the build process in general. The live ops and DevOps guys, they've been delivering over 18 publishes to the PTU, apparently, over the last month. And they've also reworked various internal tools. They've planned their new publish orchestration system for getting builds out more effectively in the future, too. Down in Foundry 42, the Foundry 42 UK guys are much more heavily working on that Squadron 42 game than the other studios are, but they're still doing a lot of 2.4 and future patch work too. The art and props guys there, they've been working lots on future ships for the Persistent universe, including 4 unannounced ships or vehicles that are in concept by them. They've also been fleshing out more ship items, power plants, coolers and shield generators. They want us to look out for Gorgon Industries as well in the future. Apparently they pack a bite. Weapons for both ships and first-person shooter stuff. They're working on upgrade paths for all the different sizes of and designs of weapons. They've also been finishing up the grey boxing of the Shubin interior levels, and they've been doing final art on some undisclosed locations. Props are kind of focusing on more ship items, so that we can have lots of ship customization in the future. Spaceships work continues on the big ships, the Idris, Javelin and Bengal, and they reported on them last month that the interior of the Idris has been largely wrapped up. So they're now kind of moving on to building some story-specific Squadron 42 variations of that. They can't really tell us too much about them. The Javelin and the Bengal exteriors are ongoing and receiving more work. They're also working on the hero ship for Squadron 42, the F-7A Hornet. That's the military version of the Hornet. They've completed work on pods for the Argo transport that will give it a number of various utility functions. They've also been finishing up work on the Drake Dragonfly space motorbike, so that will be hopefully going into more of a concept-y experience for us. We'll get to see more of that soon, because that sounds pretty cool. And they've pitched several Aegis designs for a new ship. The only clue here about what that could be is they refer to it as a tough one. The graphics guys down there, they've been doing major updates to the particle lighting system and volumetric shadowing. This is prettier and gives greater performance on modern GPUs. They should be enabling that in the next major release, I'm assuming 2.5. There's lots of other lighting improvements too and GPU tweaks. The engineering guys, they've been fixing various networking issues with 2.4, lots of bug fixing and polish as well, working on taking off and landing on carrier ships, which is quite exciting. There's more progress on the object container system and entity component system. This will kind of break entities down into smaller individual blocks that can be more easily reused and help clean up the code base. They've also been doing a player refactor and moving armor into the Item 2.0 system. The VFX guys down there, they've been optimizing that new plasma shotgun ship weapon that was in 2.4. They've also been fixing various memory leaks with some of the VFX stuff. Lots of Squadron 42 stuff they can't talk about. They've also been creating surface-specific impacts, so that you'll see if an area's been hit by like a ballistic machine gun, that sort of stuff. And if you shoot that machine gun at like dusty ground, you're going to get kickoff of dust. Not huge, but it's something that will add to your immersion. It's all little bits and bobs that add to the extra fidelity of the game. They've also begun to flesh out some of the VFX related plans for procedural planet tech generation as well. Down in Foundry 42 Frankfurt, the team there has been doing some excellent work apparently on the procedural planetary system stuff. They've also been doing some in-house tests of how that procedural planet tech works, and we're going to have to wait and see exactly what they've been doing in future updates. But the studio's been doing loads of other stuff as well. The AI guys there, they've been doing work with the subsumption editor, getting basic subsumption code implemented. AI should now be aware of things going around them in the environment, and kind of this is what subsumption will track. They'll be working out what's going on. There's going to be obstacles they'll be able to move around. They'll be able to find doors now as well. AI will have some form of combat situation awareness as well, so they'll be able to work out how to move to specific locations. They'll be shooting from cover. They're going to be working out what's the tactical thing to do. The first pass for the AI support action areas has also been implemented. This is the system so that AI will work out when and what they should be doing in a given area. They'll also use this to react to a player or another NPC entering that area. Behaviours or mental states have also been added to NPCs to tell them kind of what to do or what they should be doing during cinematic scenes. And the ship behaviour first pass is almost completed, giving AI kind of info on what areas that they need to patrol, or they're allowed in or not allowed in. The weapons art team have finished 2 new weapons for ships. They've also been doing lots of work on the material libraries for weapons, modelling a new ballistic submachine gun as well, and they've been doing finishing touches on that railgun, that shoulder-mounted railgun. They've been doing details and textures on that as well. The design guys, they've been finishing off the layout for the pirate or outlaw base. They've also done the first art pass on that base. They've been working on small areas and space truck stops, kind of to add flavour into the verse so it's not totally empty. They've been adding landing sites to the procedurally generated planet tech stuff, and they've been finalising power distribution systems. So when the system is fully implemented, all stations and ships will make use of it. The inner thought and looting system stuff, that's all gone into production. They've also been making sure that props and animations are all standardized, and a system has also been designed to generate NPC archetypes and loadouts so the team doesn't have to manually create them. The engineering guys down there have been refactorizing and optimizing the renderer and streaming code. They've also introduced the tag system, allowing items or players to be tagged and identified by AI. They've also done lots of work on head bob optimization too. The tech art and VFX guys, they've been helping with eye stabilization for the FPS side of stuff. They've been fixing loads of bugs and supporting weapon assets on all fronts. And they've also been doing lots of work with VFX for the Squadron 42 single player missions, ambient and environment effects, as well as scripted action events as well. BHVR or Behaviour have also been working a lot on 2.4 and quite a bit of content for future patches too. In May, though, they've been notably doing the 2.4 shopping for Port Olisar and Area 18, getting NPC shopkeepers in, that sort of stuff. They've also been doing work on props like shelves and item racks, implementing the new port mod system as well for hangars and editing ships. They've also been working on the white box for the pirate or outlaw base, setting up landing pads, airlocks, doors, elevators, player spawns, finding the sweet spot for this base in the Stanton system too. The shops and mood of the pirate base are going to be different to that of Port Olisar, obviously. They're going to be more outlawy, and everything's going to have more of an outlawy feel. During June, they should be doing the final passes on dressing, colour balance, decal placement, and the polishing of that base too. They've also been setting up the ship components shop that's going to be going into Port Olisar soon. This shop has had its dressing and first lighting pass complete, and they've also now moved into debugging and polishing. Turbulent. So Turbulent, they've been working on the Drake Buccaneer sale, obviously. They did the interactive survey for the sale, and in general, they've been doing lots of 2.4 preparation. So they've been focused on some other key items as well. They've continued to work on the MFA, or multi-factor authentication. So this is the security that lots of MMOs and web accounts have, that you'll need a special key or something texted to your phone or some form of other authentication to complete a login. So lots of people want that extra security. Organizations 2.0, and that we've been waiting on for a while, has evolved into the whole new communications platform that they've been talking about. So this is going to be used for many aspects of the game. It now includes a new chat and forum systems. It's still a few months away from beta though, so if you're waiting for Organizations 2.0, it's going to be a few months. Work continues on the new game launcher. It's going to support PTU, live build, Star Citizen, as well as Squadron 42, and allow background patching, that sort of stuff. This is more back-end, but it's useful to know nonetheless. And that's it for the May monthly report. There was obviously a huge amount of work done to 2.4, shopping persistence, PTU builds, and Squadron 42. And we're all obviously quite excited for the 2.4 release to go on to live. Hopefully that will happen before they run out of letters of the alphabet to label the PTU builds with. Apologies for any odd sounds you can hear. There is building works going on next to my house, and I can't soundproof my room that well. It's also hotter than the sun in my room, and I'm worried that I might turn into a pillar of salt. at any moment. So if I have rambled or if I've misspoken, it's because I'm so dehydrated it's hotter than the sun. Anyway, remember you can win a Drake Buccaneer throughout June just by commenting on one of my Star Citizen videos that was made during June, or I suppose any time. It would just be a list of whoever commented in June. That's how I grab it from YouTube. So yeah, any of my Star Citizen videos during June, that's all good. Just make sure you do that to be in for a chance to win. You don't even need to be subscribed. Please don't forget to like and subscribe as well, guys. It really does help me. And you could also check out some of my other Star Citizen videos. I'm rambling far too much. It's far too hot. Thanks, guys, and I'll see you in the verse.